Hey skiers and snowboarders of the Southeast, this is meteorologist Brad Panovich with your ski forecast update for this week after the epic storm that was Diego, what the Weather Channel calls it, Winter Storm Diego, even though we don't really use names for storms, but it will go down in one of those mystical storms, especially for the North Carolina resorts, is one of the best snowfalls we've seen, I would say, since the 90s. You got to go back a ways to see that much snow out of one storm. Certainly we've had some snowy patterns, but man, all coming at once. Cataloochee, Beach, Sugar, Appalachian, unbelievable. Even up towards Winter Place. Even Snowshoe got on a little bit of the action, though. It was really North Carolina and Western Virginia that got the best of this storm. So let's show you what's going to happen going into this weekend. I wish I could say part two, but that's not the case. In fact, we've got a milder pattern and kind of more of a rain setup going into the weekend. It's still early in the season. I think we forget it's been such a great start to the ski season with temperatures and really the snow that we kind of forget we're going to get some of these weekends. If you remember my winter forecast, I expected a lot of wild swings, but overall, cooler and snowier, and so far that seems to be working out. But this is going to be one of those weekends coming up where we're going to have some rain in the forecast, and my concern is the potential for flooding down here in North Carolina, because a lot of the North Carolina mountains got anywhere from 1 to 2 feet of snow, and you throw in heavy rain with snow melt, this could be a real issue going through the weekend. But there's not all doom and gloom in this storm, even though it looks pretty rainy and warm this weekend, even up into Virginia and Maryland. The back side of this is starting to look a little bit interesting for Monday. I'm going to back this up, and we're going to go into Monday and to Tuesday. I'm going to show you real quickly on the back side of this. Looks like a pretty good northwest flow event. If you look at the flow, there's a big Arctic high in the middle of the country. This is coming straight out of Canada in the Arctic, so we're going to pick up some moisture from the Great Lakes. This is an ideal northwest flow event setup for especially West Virginia, and Maryland, and even parts of Virginia. Watch what happens here as I go out into the future. Look at that plume of snow, because you got two things going on here. You've got northwest flow, which is always great, but you've got moisture being picked up from the unfrozen Great Lakes. So you're going to have the added moisture of not only 1 or 2 lakes, but maybe 3 lakes combining on some of these bands. So Snowshoe in particular, and Winter Place, and over there towards Wisp, this could be a monster, and even up towards Seven Springs for the folks that ski up there in the Alleghenies in southwest Pennsylvania. This is a really nice looking northwest flow event. This could really be, I mean, in many cases, the best snow of the season so far up in this area, and you could see going into the future, and even starting to work its way down into North Carolina. So even though this weekend doesn't look great, the backside of this storm actually holds some promise. And just to show you, I'm going to look at the snowfall totals here. Let me see if I can pull up snow depth here. We'll show you that the backside of this. Not showing, that's snow depth. Let me see if I can get 6-hour snowfall totals out of this. We'll show you how much snow falls on this. So you can see in here, these are 6-hour totals. And so you start getting into the blues. You look over here on the left, you're getting into 2 inches per 6 hours. That's a pretty good little vent there. With that snow. So it's not huge, but not bad for this part of the country. Now, long term, we're looking at a colder pattern. Now, the warm pattern this weekend, you can see the storm across the south. This would be a great setup if we didn't have all this warm air. So this is a very wet system. We typically like to see the northern branch kind of syncing up with the southern branch of the jet stream. This is all southern branch energy, so we don't have any of that northern branch. But as we go into next week, watch what happens. Pretty good evolution of the pattern here. Some troughiness building on the East Coast by next Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday, and I want you to see what happens going into the following weekend. It looks like blocking develops in the North Atlantic. And what blocking is a big ridge develops in the North Atlantic. It actually forces cold air to back into the southeast and actually promotes storminess here on the East Coast. So if you look at this, is Friday, December 21st. So this is next Friday going into the following weekend, not this upcoming weekend. There's indications this is the weekend before Christmas. That's a pretty good signal right there of significant storminess and cold air. And unlike the last one that just came through this weekend, that we're seeing in the models for this upcoming weekend, this has northern branch energy with it as well. So this is the kind of setup you want to see, just not southern branch energy, but northern branch of the jet stream. So going into that weekend before Christmas, that's a real promising sign. And it looks like that kind of pattern lingers even into Christmas. So we'll go towards Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's not quite as strong, but these are all strong indications going into next weekend, which is the weekend before Christmas, of troughiness, which means cold air, and possible storminess here across the southeast. So a real good setup overall. So here's a look at the forecast for the next, I would say, 6-7 days here. Not a lot of snow chances here. I would say little to none. I need to start putting some natural snow in here, but I think Tuesday we'll have some snowmaking possibilities in both North and South Carolina. But these 2 days here, there could be a little bit of northwest flow snow, which I'll talk more about coming up in tomorrow's forecast. I'll do another one going into the upcoming weekend to kind of get you prepared. But want to do a quick update here in the middle of the week, kind of recap the epic storm that just came through and talk about a little flip in the pattern here to warm. But as always, doesn't last very long. It looks like it flips right back going into next weekend. As always, think snow and enjoy that fresh powder in the North Carolina mountains. Boy, has it been nice.